A war far from home. The Korean War in the Philippines. The Korean War, which raged from 1950 to 1953, was a conflict that reached far beyond the Korean peninsula. It was a war that drew in nations from across the globe, each with their own reasons for joining the fray. The devastation it caused was immense, leaving cities in ruins and families torn apart. It was a proxy war between the Communist North, supported by China and the Soviet Union, and the Democratic South, backed by the United Nations, primarily the United States. The ideological battle between communism and democracy was at the heart of this conflict, making it a significant chapter in the Cold War era. The Philippines, newly independent after World War II, answered the call to defend democracy and freedom. Having just emerged from the shadows of colonial rule, the nation was eager to assert its place on the world stage and demonstrate its commitment to global peace. Although geographically distant, the Philippines recognized the threat posed by communism and sent troops to aid South Korea. The decision was driven by a sense of solidarity with other democratic nations and a desire to prevent the spread of communism in Asia. The Philippine Expeditionary Force to Korea, comprised of 5 battalion combat teams, demonstrated the nation's commitment to international peace and security. These battalions were well-trained and equipped, ready to face the challenges of a brutal and unfamiliar war. These brave soldiers, many of whom had fought for their own country's independence just a few years earlier, were prepared to face a new enemy in a foreign land. Their previous experiences in World War II had steeled them for the hardships they would encounter in Korea. Their participation in the Korean War solidified the Philippines' identity as a nation that stood for freedom and democracy on the global stage. The bonds they formed with the Korean people were built on mutual respect and shared sacrifice. The decision to send troops to Korea was not taken lightly. It involved careful deliberation and a deep understanding of the potential consequences. The government had to weigh the risks and benefits, knowing that the lives of their soldiers were at stake. It was a testament to the shared values of the Philippines and South Korea, both nations yearning for peace and prosperity after years of colonialism and conflict. Their collaboration during the war laid the groundwork for a lasting partnership. The Filipino soldiers' sacrifices in Korea would forever link the two nations, forging a bond of friendship cemented in shared struggle and sacrifice. This enduring relationship continues to be celebrated and honored by both countries, a reminder of their joint commitment to peace and freedom. Yultong, a crossroads of conflict. Nestled amidst the rugged terrain of central Korea, Yultong was a seemingly insignificant village that became a focal point of the Korean War. In April 1953, the Chinese People's Volunteer Army launched a massive offensive aimed at capturing Seoul, the capital of South Korea. Yultong, situated on a strategic transportation route, became a critical point of defense for the United Nations forces. The Chinese forces, vastly outnumbering the UN troops, were determined to break through the defensive lines and achieve a decisive victory. For the Filipinos and their allies, holding Yultong became paramount to preventing the fall of Seoul and stemming the tide of the communist advance. The landscape surrounding Yultong, characterized by rolling hills and narrow valleys, would become the battleground for a fierce confrontation. Hill 140, overlooking the village, was a particularly strategic position. Whoever controlled this high ground would have a tactical advantage in the coming battle. The Filipino 20th Battalion Combat Team, answering the call to duty. Among the UN forces tasked with defending Yultong was the Filipino 20th Battalion Combat Team. This battalion was a crucial part of the United Nations efforts to maintain peace and stability in the region. Their presence was a testament to the international solidarity and cooperation that defined the UN's mission during the Korean War. Known for their tenacity and resilience, the Filipino soldiers were battle-hardened veterans of World War II and the Hukbalahap Rebellion. These experiences had forged them into a formidable fighting force, capable of enduring the harshest conditions and the most intense combat situations. Their history of resistance and struggle had prepared them well for the challenges they would face in Korea. They brought with them a unique blend of combat experience and an unwavering commitment to their mission. Their rigorous training and previous combat experiences had instilled in them a sense of discipline and a warrior spirit that was unmatched. This combination of skills and dedication made them a vital asset to the UN forces. Led by Colonel Ramon Z. Aguirre, the 20th BCT was deployed to Hill 140, a crucial position for the defense of Yultong. Colonel Aguirre's leadership was instrumental in organizing and motivating his troops, ensuring that they were always ready for the challenges ahead. His strategic acumen and ability to inspire his men were key factors in their ability to hold their ground. They were outnumbered and outgunned by the approaching Chinese forces, but their morale remained high. Despite the overwhelming odds, the Filipino soldiers stood firm, drawing on their deep sense of duty and their commitment to their comrades. Their resolve was a testament to their courage and their belief in the righteousness of their cause. The Filipinos understood the gravity of their task and were prepared to fight tooth and nail to defend their position. They knew that the outcome of the battle would have far-reaching implications, not just for Korea, but for the broader struggle for freedom and democracy. Their determination was fueled by a deep sense of responsibility and a desire to honor their commitments. The soldiers of the 20th BCT, many of them farmers and laborers back in the Philippines, were far from home, fighting in a foreign land for a cause they believed in. Their journey from their homeland to the battlefields of Korea was a testament to their dedication and their willingness to sacrifice for a greater good. They carried with them the hopes and prayers of their families and communities. Their letters home spoke of their longing for family and their determination to fulfill their duty. These letters were a poignant reminder of the personal sacrifices they were making and the emotional toll of being away from their loved ones. Yet, they also expressed a steadfast resolve to see their mission through to the end. They were fighting not just for Korea, but for the principles of freedom and democracy that they held dear. Their participation in the Korean War was a reflection of their commitment to these ideals and their belief in the importance of standing up against tyranny and oppression. The legacy of their bravery and sacrifice continues to inspire future generations. Section 4. A Clash of Ideologies. The Battle of Yultong begins. On the night of April 22, 1953, the Battle of Yultong commenced with a deafening barrage of Chinese artillery fire. The night sky was lit up by the relentless explosions, creating a scene of chaos and destruction. The Chinese forces aimed to break through the United Nations lines, and their artillery fire was the opening salvo in what would become a fierce and bloody confrontation. Waves of Chinese soldiers, under the cover of darkness, charged towards Hill 140, determined to overrun the Filipino defenses. The darkness provided them with a cloak of invisibility, making it difficult for the defenders to spot their movements. The Chinese troops were well prepared and highly motivated, driven by the belief that they could overwhelm the Filipino forces with sheer numbers and surprise. The Filipino soldiers, dug in and ready, met the enemy with fierce resistance. They had fortified their positions and were prepared for the onslaught. The trenches provided them with some protection, but the sheer volume of the attacking force meant that they had to be constantly vigilant and ready to respond to any breach in their defenses. Machine guns roared, rifles cracked, and grenades exploded as the two sides clashed in a brutal close-quarters battle. The noise was deafening, and the air was thick with smoke and the smell of gunpowder. The Filipino soldiers fought with everything they had, using every weapon at their disposal to repel the attackers. The Filipinos, despite being outnumbered, fought with tenacity and courage, repelling wave after wave of Chinese assaults. Their determination and bravery were evident as they held their ground against the relentless attacks. Each soldier knew that their position was crucial, and they were willing to make the ultimate sacrifice to defend it. Their discipline and training, honed in previous conflicts, proved invaluable in the heat of battle. The rigorous training they had undergone allowed them to remain calm and focused, even in the face of overwhelming odds. Their ability to work together as a cohesive unit was a testament to their professionalism and dedication. The battle raged throughout the night, illuminated by the flashes of gunfire and explosions. The night was filled with the sounds of battle, and the sky was lit up by the continuous bursts of light from the explosions. It was a scene of chaos and destruction, but also one of incredible bravery and determination. The Filipinos, low on ammunition and facing overwhelming odds, refused to yield. They rationed their remaining supplies carefully, making every shot count. Despite the dire situation, their resolve never wavered. They knew that surrender was not an option, and they were determined to fight to the last man if necessary. They knew that the fate of Yultong, and possibly the entire UN defense line, rested on their shoulders. The responsibility they bore was immense, and they were acutely aware of the stakes. Their determination to hold the line was fueled by a deep sense of duty and honor. Their determination to hold the line became a symbol of their unwavering commitment to freedom and democracy in the face of communist aggression. The Battle of Yultong stands as a testament to their courage and sacrifice, a moment in history where the resolve of a few held back the tide of many. Section 5. Against all odds, Filipino valor on Hill 140. As the battle raged, individual acts of heroism emerged from the chaos. Private First Class Fidel Pagsisihan, armed with only a rifle and grenades, single-handedly repelled a Chinese assault on his position, taking out numerous enemy soldiers before succumbing to his wounds. His selfless act of bravery earned him the Medal of Valor, the Philippines' highest military honor. Another Filipino soldier, Corporal Adriano Bautista, fearlessly exposed himself to enemy fire to carry ammunition to his comrades, ensuring their continued resistance. His bravery and dedication to his fellow soldiers exemplified the spirit of camaraderie that defined the Filipino 20th BCT. The stories of valor and sacrifice displayed by the Filipino soldiers at Yultong became legendary. They fought with limited resources and facing overwhelming odds, yet their spirit never wavered. Their determination to hold Hill 140, even in the face of death, became a testament to their unwavering belief in the cause for which they were fighting. Section 6. A strategic victory, turning the tide of war. After 3 days of intense fighting, the Chinese offensive was finally repulsed. The Filipino 20th BCT, despite suffering heavy casualties, held their ground on Hill 140, preventing the Chinese forces from achieving their objective. The Battle of Yultong was a decisive victory for the UN forces, effectively halting the Chinese advance and turning the tide of the war in favor of the South. The victory at Yultong had a significant impact on the morale of the UN forces. The Filipinos' bravery and tenacity in defense of Hill 140 inspired their allies and demonstrated the crucial role played by the smaller nations in the fight against communism. The Battle of Yultong proved that even outnumbered and outgunned, a determined force fighting for a just cause could achieve victory. The Filipinos' sacrifice at Yultong was instrumental in thwarting the communist offensive and ultimately contributed to the armistice agreement signed just a few months later.